Officer Commanding 1 Brigade Artillery Regiment, Commandant Catherine Cahan, fellow gunners, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's with a deep sense of pride and a little humility and sadness that I stand here today and welcome you on behalf of the members of the committee of the 1st Field Artillery Regiment Association to Ballincollig and to the site of the former Murphy Barracks, which is home to many of you that served here. We are here today to remember all those that served here, to unveil a plaque, to thank and remember all members of the Defence Forces that served here for their service, and to mark the 20th anniversary of the closure of Murphy Barracks and the subsequent marching out and the departure of the 1st Field Artillery Regiment from Ballincollig. On Tuesday the 29th of September 1998, the Irish Times reporter Dick Hogan wrote the following article. Some tears were shed, but no protests, as soldiers quit Two Cock Post. It was a poignant moment yesterday for the inhabitants of Two Cock towns, Fermoy and Ballincollig, as their regiments left their barracks under the Army Rationalisation Programme to take up residence in Collins Barracks in Cork. There were some tears, some recriminations, but the great military tradition in both towns, going back 200 years, when the British Army built the original military establishment, was passing away. Soldiers had tears in their eyes. People lined the streets as both towns turned out in numbers. There was pride, there was sadness, there was anger towards the departure of such a living link with a great military tradition. However, there were no protests. The General Officer Commanding of the Southern Brigade, Brigadier General Taylor, asked both towns to acknowledge the Defence Forces' commitment to local societies by considering the erection of fitting and permanent tributes, reminding future townspeople of the extent of the military involvement in their lives and the role played by soldiers abroad who came from both localities. To date, Brigadier General Taylor's request of a fitting tribute being erected has not been achieved in Ballincollig, and the association membership sought to fill that void by erecting a plaque here on the former barracks site. It is indeed ironic to say that it was out this very gate here, where we are now gathered, that the regiment finally departed under the leadership of Lieutenant Colonel Cormac Lawler, now retired, on this day 20 years ago. The regiment departed leaving behind what was not only a barracks, it was also home to a family of officers, NCOs, gunners and civilians. That day was like breaking up a family and taking their home, as some members of the unit retired while others moved to different locations. The vast majority of the regiment were relocated to Collins Barracks, Cork in 1998, and in typical regimental fashion, not alone did they take up residence in their new post, but they eventually went on to become the lead unit with responsibility for the entire post. As part of today's proceedings, we had to research historical references regarding Murphy Barracks, and we contacted Military Archives in Dublin and asked two questions. One, when was the barracks first occupied by the Irish Defence Forces, and what was its official name? The following was the response from Military Archives. Question 1. We have to look through what material we have regarding the takeover of Ballincollig Barracks. The anti-treaty forces first took it over in 1922, and when they were retreating from the town, they burned the barracks in mid-August of that year. The land was taken over by national forces, but the barracks was not rebuilt at this stage. It was leased out for grazing. A military post was opened there in early 1940, and in 1943, elements of artillery transferred there. The 3rd FAR are mentioned to have been sent to Ballincollig for demobilisation purposes in 1945, with the 1st FAR, which was formed in 1944 in Clonmel, and the 7th FAR following in June of that year. In mid-1946, the remaining personnel from these 3 regiments were combined as a reborn 1st Field Artillery Regiment. The second question is a more difficult one, because each source we look at seems to disagree with the one before. Its name in Irish has always been Dooney Vercada, and since 1958, which would translate as Murphy Barracks. But we have seen Leo Murphy Barracks mentioned a few times, and even Walter Leo Murphy Barracks. The information was taken from 3 different articles about the history of the barracks and the Field Artillery Regiment. I'm personally confident that we will be questioned and possibly corrected by some of our members on those answers. And now to today's proceedings. The 1st Field Artillery Regiment Association was formed in 2013 by like-minded serving personnel that identified a need to keep in contact with former members of the regiment and to seek to maintain contact between past and present members, fostering mutual friendship between them and providing social, suitable gatherings. Furthermore, to maintain the traditions of the regiment, to publicise and disseminate information concerning the history, deeds and the customs of the regiment. The association has grown in strength since then, with a current membership of 90 people, and it was suggested recently that we should somehow mark the occasion of the 20th anniversary of the Barracks closure, and hence the plaque we are unveiling here today. We approached Jim O'Leary of Castlewest Shopping Centre and asked for his help on this, and we set up a meeting with Starbucks, who are now the owners of this building. Not alone did Starbucks allow us to place the plaque on their building, but they also sponsored it. And I have to take this opportunity to thank Georgina Trade here for this very generous gesture. I'd also like to thank Jim O'Leary for allowing us the use of the plaza and the shopping centre today, the Band of One Brigade for providing the musical entertainment for you, and to thank the Officer Commanding NCOs and Gunners of the 1st Brigade Artillery Regiment for providing an artillery display here today. I will now kindly ask Colonel Tim Daly and Retired Sergeant Stephen Geary to come forward and unveil the plaque. Thank you, Colonel Daly. Thanks, Steve. In remembrance of those members of the Defence Forces that had served here in Murphy Barracks and have passed away, I would like to invite Retired Sergeant Major Pat O'Driscoll to come forward and to lay a wreath in their memory. I invite you all to stand for a moment's silent prayer and reflection for those that served and who have passed away and who are no longer with us. May they rest in peace. Please be seated. I want to thank my fellow committee members and all our association members for their help in today's ceremony. And finally, we would like to invite you to District 11, formerly Sam's Bear, for some light refreshments at the conclusion of the event, where I'm sure many a war story, whether truth or mistruth, will be told. So, Emil Bargwood will there.